IVM.
News Kids on the Block. We're bringing to you stories that top the nation's papers, fresh from the Ascend International School and IVM desk. Hi, I'm Kavya.
I'm Anya.
And I'm Trivik.
And welcome to this episode of News Kids on the Block, where we give you all the top news updates of the week. And for the first time in NKOTB history, we are actually recording an episode sitting in the same room.
That's right, we are at the IVM studio today.
Yeah.
It's very exciting.
Yeah,
I'm big time now, guys. Don't try calling me. Delete my number if you have it.
So this is supposed to be a Christmassy episode, but we don't have anything Christmas related in it.
Kavya will serenade us later.
So I'll start us off with a very interesting story that my uncle sent me, which is
Yes, go Uncle Heb.
which is about the Swiggy Eat Sticks, okay? So it's basically statistics that Swiggy has collected over the last year, over 2021, about what different cities have ordered and the different foods and stuff like that. So I thought it would be really interesting to go through some insights that Swiggy has collected and share that with you guys. So, not surprisingly really, but some interesting fun facts we'll do. So Indians ordered, not surprisingly, but 115 biryanis per minute. And even if you look at the what each city has ordered the most, almost every city has ordered chicken biryani the most.
I wonder what percentage of that in Mumbai is down to my family itself. We have like 5 biryanis a week.
Samosa was the number one snack in the country ordered, followed by pav bhaji and gulab jamun. The most healthy, health-conscious city was Bangalore, which had the most orders that were health-conscious and healthy. And then the top dishes ordered after 10 p.m. were cheese, garlic bread, popcorn, and french fries. Who orders popcorn from Swiggy?
Popcorn? Like
Yeah.
chicken popcorn? Or?
No, like just general popcorn.
And what was the last one? Fries. Yeah, fries is
Apne ghar
understandable.
ko cinema banao.
Yeah, and let's look at Mumbai specifically. So the most ordered dish of the year for Mumbai was dal khichdi.
What?
As opposed to
My mom has ordered dal khichdi from Swiggy, so I'm not surprised. Chicken fried rice, pav bhaji, masala dosa, and garlic breadsticks.
Where is pizza? I feel like the only thing I even order from Swiggy is pizza.
Literally, if you look at it, no city has ordered pizza. Like, it's not in the top 5 of any
That
city,
is
which is a bit
very
surprising and a bit
surprising.
sad at the same time.
no, man, why order pizza when you can have biryani?
That was some interesting stuff. And Anya?
So the next story that we have to you is in a historic moment. The government wants to raise the legal age of marriage for women from 18 to 21 years. So currently, women could get married at the age of 18, whereas men could only get married at the age of 21. And the government is hoping to change that. On Wednesday, the 15th of December, the Union Cabinet took the decision to do that, essentially bringing the age of marriage for men and women to the same level. So, like, a few things to note is, like, in India, because of just how diverse it is, and given the fact that there isn't like a uniform civil code and there are a lot of personal or religious laws, different religions have different legal ages for marriage, and the center or the government setting a standardized law would, obviously affect that. This is the age of consent for marriage, and the Narendra Modi government decided to re-examine this for like various reasons, including gender neutrality. A lot of people have proposed that by increasing this age, women will be in their own house longer, so that might lead to essentially forced higher rates of education. But at the same time, a lot of people have also argued that for women, often marriage is like this freedom moment where they can leave their house and live in a different way. So there's a lot of like juxtaposition as to which way it truly is. The National Family Health Survey revealed that child marriage has come down marginally from 27% in 2015-16 to 23% in the 2019-20 year. So, yeah, this was like a really interesting thing that the government has done, because I think as a culture in India, marriage is something that is so definitive of you as a person, especially for women. I know that, like, I've often asked, like, as a kid, like, why can women only get married at 18, or why is it 21? Like, why is there this, like, strange age gap? That being said, there have been petitions and referrals filed to change this. But yeah, I think all in all, it just is like the fact that somebody's thought about it and done it, and now we're having this conversation, because by law, a woman can get married at 18. And, knowing that I'm 2 years away from 18, it's like, okay, but then 21 seems a little bit further away. So I think that it just brings a lot into perspective about like age and marriage in the future.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that now the age is the same for men and women. But I also think that this could first of all bring down rates of child marriage, because people who do abide by the law will probably not. 18 is still really young if you think about it. And but I also think that this could, because the age is higher, people might also start going against the law and getting married earlier if they want to. So I think this is mostly good, but also I think it could have its bad implications.
I think it's great to see that the government are helping work against child marriage, because in the past it has not always been the government, it has always been the protesters. I'm glad to see that what they're saying when they go to protest, when they talk on the internet, that what they are saying is actually having a difference. It's making a difference, because the only ones who can really make a change in this world after beyond what we can say is the government, and I'm glad to see that the government are finally acting on it.
Yeah. With that, we'll take a short break and we'll be right back on News Kids on the Block.
Have you ever wondered where the business world is headed? How the ways in which we create, market, and sell to consumers will evolve? Or if we'll ever go back to wearing pants while working? For answers to all of this and more, tune into Advertising is Dead with me, Varun Dugirala. Every Tuesday, as I talk to entrepreneurs, leaders, and change makers from across business, media, marketing, and beyond. You can catch all episodes of Advertising is Dead on the IVM Podcasts website, app, or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Welcome back to News Kids on the Block. I'm your co-host Trivik Hariharan, and our next story for you today, it's about a woman from Delhi claiming to be the widow of the great-grandson of the last Mughal king, Bahadur Shah Zafar II, recently approached the court and asked for reparations. Sultana Begum claimed ownership of the Red Fort and asked the court to hand it over to her. She said if that was not possible, she would like to receive monetary compensation. So Justice Rekha Pali, the judge who was presiding over her case, dismissed the plea and denied her right to the monument. She said that the petitioner was 150 years too late and that handing over the Red Fort would not be possible. And according to Sultana Begum's lawyer, she is the widow of the late Mirza Muhammad Bedar, great-grandson and legal and rightful heir of the last Mughal emperor, late Bahadur Shah Zafar II, King of Delhi. After his death in 1980, Begum was also given pensions by the Ministry of Home Affairs. In her petition, Sultana claimed that her family was being denied of the property since 1857, ever since the East India Company took it over. I think it's a crazy story considering how big the Red Fort is to Indian culture now. Just 150 years later, some woman who was unheard of until recently has come forward and said that this is my property, it's mine, and if I don't get it, I want money compensation. I think it's more an act of greed rather than it's a long shot to try and make some money. But
I think there are so many stories we read about in like say France or Italy where people are like coming and claiming like the Medici throne and like this throne and that throne, and I feel like this is a very similar situation in India. I mean, yeah, like Bahadur Shah Zafar, he basically was like the end of this Mughal dynasty, which like reigned from when Babur came to India. And then with the East India Company and then the First War of Independence in 1857, like so much of our culture has changed post-colonialism. And I think that the Mughals are in large part like the only remnants of Hindustan, because after that everything kind of changed, right? So I think her claiming the Red Fort is
a bit extreme.
Is extreme, but it's also in like some strange way like a preserval of culture. But the only thing is that how would that reflect on like Indian culture? Like you said, like if you go to Delhi, you go to the Red Fort.
It's a part of India now.
And then if somebody owns that, like how does that make you feel as like an Indian?
It's not a monument anymore, it's someone's ghar.
Exactly. Our next story for you comes from the world of the film industry, where South Indian films, specifically those in Tamil and Telugu, have been leading box office collections in 2021. Movies like Master, Vakil Saab, Love Story, as well as Pushpa the Rise Part 1 have been key hits in the South Indian cinema. On the other hand, because of COVID mainly, Hindi cinema or the Bollywood industry was only able to see some sense of resurgence, according to an article by Live Mint, with movies like Akshay Kumar's much anticipated Suryavanshi and the yet to come 83 starring Ranveer Singh. The Hindi film industry has gotten in 450 crore rupees, while some movies are yet to come. On the other hand, the South Indian film industry may have collected closer to 1,000 crore rupees. I think that this is really interesting because I don't speak Tamil or Telugu, so I don't tend to watch South Indian films. And I don't actually watch Hindi films either. I don't watch films in general. I think my general point is just Bollywood is just like very, very glorified thing sometimes. And it's fun, and nothing like watching a bad Bollywood movie or a good bad Bollywood movie for that matter, like hits different. But I think this is really interesting because from the few South Indian films that I have seen, the entire quality from like a filming perspective is really different. And so of course, while like there might be changes with like the storyline or there might be something lost in translation, and I think that as they're getting more popular, as technology is developing with like dubbing movies or translating things in a way that anyone can reach it, I think it's really interesting and great to see like different movie industries taking over different movie industries. So yeah, this was like a interesting piece of news. With that, we'll take a short break and we'll be right back on News Kids on the Block.
Hey, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Advertising is Dead, Varun talks to Anmol Gill, Head of Consumer Marketing at Bacardi India. They discuss the alco-bev industry, role of culture and marketing, and a whole lot more. On the Storytellers and Storysellers podcast, Vineet talks to Ambi and Bindu Subramaniam about the Sapa School of Music. They aim to make music learning more fun and accessible. Why is Google refusing to pull down a pro-suicide website? The Press Decode hosts analyze this piece of news. On Ikka Dukka Economy, Abhinav and Dr. Bharat Junjunwala cover everything there is to learn about IPOs. And on Say No to Drama, Chetna talks about how what-ifs could be a major barrier to most of your problems. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. Go check out our YouTube channels. We go live on a whole bunch of different things. We have a number of different channels. You can find them on ivmpodcast.com/YouTube. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors this week: Cred, Bank of Baroda, CoinSwitch Kuber, Intel, and Oxfam India. Thank you for making this possible.
Welcome back. You're listening to News Kids on the Block. I'm your co-host Kavya. So the next story is something that a few hours ago I wouldn't have even thought possible. So a NASA spacecraft for the first time in history has managed to touch the sun. This is the NASA's Parker solar probe, and it has basically collected particles and magnetic fields in the corona. It's not the virus but the sun's upper atmosphere. This, like I said, is like we've always been told that nothing can go close to the sun, nothing can touch the sun, or you like burn and
You'll die.
You'll die. Like even if it's an object, it won't be able to. It'll be destroyed. So the fact that this is actually possible and it's been able to actually penetrate the sun is a fascinating idea, and obviously also a major step in science and to learn more about the most important and the star that gives us light and energy, and which we cannot survive without. So I think it's really interesting and just opens up a variety of insights and perspectives that we never deemed possible.
Honestly, it's so cool that this is possible because an hour ago I would have thought this is not possible. And with that, we'll take you on to the best story of the day, and that is, you know it, we've been talking about it for a couple episodes now. It is Spiderman No Way Home. It has finally hit theaters worldwide, and my oh my, is it a banger. So Spider-Man No Way Home is officially the second biggest box office, has made the second biggest box office debut in history, making $260 million, that is USD, in just until now, which means that it has overtaken Avengers Infinity War, but still sits second behind Avengers Endgame, which, let's face it, amazing movie, biggest of all time. So it has captured $348.8 million from 60 overseas markets, pushing its global tally to $600.8 million. So far, it is still behind Infinity War in the total money accumulated. Infinity War made $640 million, while Endgame made $1.2 billion. I think it'll definitely surpass Infinity War over the coming days.
Sorry, once again, I have to ask, why are all these like top ranking movies all Marvel-y and Avengers?
That's because Marvel owns Hollywood. Hollywood is Marvel.
Unless you go to like, Bollywood and like the South Indian film industry.
I would really like to see an Indian Spider-Man. That is definitely something
When
I
they're
would pay
supposed to
for.
come out with like an Indian superhero and like Priyanka Chopra was supposed to play her or something, and he was like Kamala Khan or something. Seriously, this is a thing.
Regardless, we're going off topic here. We're talking about appreciating Spider-Man right now.
We can appreciate potentially having Indian superheroes. Like, I mean, Shaktiman tops everyone, but like still.
We have Chhota Bheem. What more do we
Okay,
need?
they are true.
So naturally, this new Marvel adventure has obliterated the box office post the COVID era. It is the biggest ever movie release since COVID started, since COVID has become a thing. And it has taken the world by storm. I actually saw it on Friday for the first time.
And then 3 times since.
Yeah.
True, that movie changed my life. It is a life-changing experience, and these two people sitting next to me have still not seen it, and one
I don't
doesn't
plan
even
on
plan on
watching
seeing
it. I
it. Do you
don't
plan on
I
seeing it?
will eventually. I'm
Anya,
looking forward to 83. Like once I watch 83, then I'll
Yeah,
watch
same.
it. I can't prioritize.
No, you won't
like
even
this.
watch it after that.
I won't.
Kavya's a
I'm not
big
gonna watch it.
traitor.
I
Kavya
just
needs to
wanna-
appreciate.
I
Guys,
read
have
the
no interest in
Wikipedia
watching
page though,
Spiderman.
which you
Guys-
can hear all about on our episode with IVM Likes, which drops like on Friday, the same day as this is dropping.
And since we didn't really do much Christmas stuff this time, you will get all things Christmas on that. So make sure you go check it out right after listening to this. We are also going to be taking a little break for 1 week because we have Christmas holidays and we kind of want to travel and stuff. So it'll just be a short week and we'll be right back after that. That's all we have for you today. We hope you enjoyed this episode of News Kids on the Block. Don't forget to tune in to us every Friday for our fresh take on the news from across the globe.
If you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network.
you can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on our social media. We are at IVM Podcast on Twitter and Instagram.
We'll see you next week. Till then, do share this episode with your folks. Stay safe and don't forget to do your homework.
If you're a cricket fan, check out Edges and Sledges, India's favorite cricket podcast.
The podcast focuses on Indian cricket, the IPL, and has a ton of banter both on and off the field.
We talk about the week's biggest cricket stories with current and ex-international cricketers, coaches, or sometimes just between us.
And it's hosted by me, DJ.
Me, Varun.
And me, Ashwin.
New episodes release every week.
You can catch us on the IVM Podcasts website, app,
Or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Check out the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast.
Eventually, you'll see the end of your childhood,
Get accustomed to womanhood.
enjoy the experience of sisterhood,
Might get to wifehood
or not, choose motherhood,
or not. You'll learn to define your personhood.
earn a livelihood,
Change the neighborhood.
and get rid of the falsehood that life post-academia is easy.
So join me, Natasha,
And me, Ayushi,
on a journey from station starting point.
to station, what now?
Next station, Pudin Station, and hopefully, Agla Station, adulthood.
Fresh episodes out every Thursday.